Welcome to Soltron. This is the video review of the DX Gojuger Tega Sword and Leon Buster combo. And here's a size comparison. I just happen to have King Oger out at the moment. Here's a look at the Tega Sword box. It doesn't come with instructions or anything, so it's basically just a box. Nothing too special, but it's pretty flashy, looks pretty nice, it's very appealing. And then the Leon Buster box, much smaller, but basically same format all around. And here's the 360 view of this mode, so you can see the back is pretty ugly. Side view is not great looking either. I think the front looks pretty good. I really enjoyed the way this figure looks, but yeah, the back is just a huge mess. You got these hollow legs, a big mess happening with the wings, but I think the front cleans up pretty nicely for the most part. And here's a close-up of the head sculpt. It looks pretty good. It's very similar to the red head sculpt, and you can get like a light up effect in the neck, but it doesn't really light up the whole head, so it's not that great. Makes the chest look amazing, but only the neck really lights up. It travels about that far. It doesn't really get to the crest or anything. So it's a cool effect though. I think it's pretty interesting. Unfortunately, it doesn't light up the eyes or anything. A real problem with this set, which I saw somebody else noticed, was that this crest that goes around the head is just too far forward. Like it's way in front of this shoulder pad. This is like where the shoulder pad is, and this is where the shoulder is. So that's really annoying. And then even on the other side, you can see this shoulder pad is like way up here. And then this like lion's mane crystallized part is above his head. So it buries his head in this kind of mess. I really cannot understand why they didn't make this piece go back here, like behind the head. And then the shoulder pad would be in the right place. And then this piece wouldn't block the view of the head. I really can't comprehend why they made this clip so far back. If it was more here, this would just clip right there, which would look a lot better. It would look more cohesive than just having this giant piece that blocks his head from every side. So not great. And then I think the cannon does kind of blow out his proportions a little bit, but I kind of like this gigantic Gatling arm. And this one thankfully does let you articulate, so you can point it forward, and then you can still press the trigger and do the gimmick, which will activate with his motion sensor light up feature, which is cool. And then you can hold down this trigger on the handle for his special mode, for his special move, his special finisher. So that's pretty cool. And then the orange lights are a nice touch. Another annoying thing about this arm is just having this lion arm hanging off of it. This really should have rotated back and just like gotten out of the way a bit more. It really looks very stupid just having this arm here. So not great. I do like this giant shoulder pad compared to like this smaller one though. The asymmetry is pretty cool. I saw in the mini claw version, he could pull off a pose like this, and then he could turn his head looking at the camera, which is pretty cool. So I think that would be pretty awesome if this had articulation, but it doesn't. All it can do, I'm gonna turn this off, it's getting really annoying. All it can do is angle up, and then you can probably angle it up a little bit more, but then it starts getting into the way of this crest. So the articulation is very poor, and then the other articulation he has is this arm, and then your shoulder pad, of course, is going to get in the way of that. Maybe that's why they made it this far out. No, it's not, because that makes almost no difference. So just a really weird choice. I don't know what the point was, but yeah, so pretty much no articulation. I guess the other thing you can do is you can rotate his hips. So I guess you can kind of pull off like, no, you really can't. It doesn't work. But yeah, that's this mode. I like it. I think it looks good. But anyway, to get him into his base Tega sword red mode, you're just going to take off his face and everything else. You're going to grab his arm from the wing where it's clipped on. You're going to just peg that back in. So you do get some parts for me, unfortunately. And then you're going to flip out the sword from his forearm. And then while we're on the subject, this is the forearm. It's hideous. It's just huge hollow piece. You get some like flexing plastic right here. And then same thing with this arm. It's just massively hollow. It's very ugly. But yeah, I'll talk more about that in a little bit. And then you get the red ring. You just peg that in, the wolf ring, I guess. And you get a slightly different head sculpt. It's actually very similar to the blue head sculpt. It's just the blue one's a little bit more dignified with all this like crown up here. But they both function the same way. They open and close this way, which is kind of cool. So not too bad. And then I guess if you want to see the light up feature for this ring, you could see it lights up the face a little bit better than blue, but you kind of blow out all the features when it's all lit up. But it's cool. I think it's not bad. And then you get the new ring unlocks a different special move. So you get a sword finish. So not bad. So yeah, his basic mode is very scrawny. It leaves something to be desired. I think style-wise, it's pretty cool, but it's the lack of articulation is really annoying. They could have easily put a elbow and bicep joint in here. There's plenty of space with all this hollow area. Same for this. They gave him this bicep swivel, but no elbow joint. So that's really irritating. And then his legs don't have any articulation, so that's really annoying. He doesn't have knees or anything. He has like this foot transformation joint, and his feet are really ugly to look at, but no articulation in the legs at all. You do get this waist swivel, which is like set for 45-degree angles, and then nothing in the head either. But I think just standing there, he does look fairly cool, but he's really not any fun to play with. I guess you can lift up this thumb or this middle finger and you can grab the handle and fly him around or whatever and have him battle, which is kind of cool, having the handle on the back, which can be fun for attacking, especially with the motion sensor. It's pretty fun. You just flip that on and then you can, there we go, listen to this whole thing. Okay, anyway, so you can get the motion sensor and you can have him stabbing and slashing whenever this LED decides to turn off. So that's pretty fun. And then you can just press the button and get the slashing sound effect. So that's pretty cool. That is kind of a good play gimmick where you could just grab him and have him attack other robots. And then if you wanted to, you could replace his head with this one. Okay, sure. So the light up effect works pretty well on that one because he's just a big hollow piece. I wondered, because the way that these are activated, they have these pins. I wonder if somebody's done all the pin combinations to see what the future releases will be. I'd be interested to hear what other sound effects are hidden. But anyway, I resorted to buying this guy on eBay. He was like $90, which is definitely not worth it. I overpaid by quite a bit. I mean, 60 would probably be a good price for this guy, considering all the hollow pieces, the light up effects, maybe 70. Yeah, just he feels very cheap. When I got him out, I was immediately disappointed. He's just got a lot of hollow plastic everywhere you look. especially this ugliness in the back of his legs is really terrible. At least they put this clear plastic here to reinforce the strength of the legs, because otherwise they probably would break. There's like some flex to it. Yeah, the back of his legs just look terrible. He's just very ugly from the back. It doesn't work. And then even the middle finger is completely hollow. It's just really bad how hollow this figure is. It's not what you expect from Sentai robots. Anyway, transforming him is really easy. You just flip up this middle finger. You can rotate this arm up. You're going to fold the shoulder pad up. You're going to rotate the legs all the way around. Before you fold them in half, you got to get this. Thumb is really weird. This is the outside of the thumb. So you want it to face like this. And you got to get the blade up as well. So you rotate these two little wing pieces up, and then you fold them together to make kind of a blade. And then it's a little bit of a rubbery plastic, but it's actually pretty solid. Mine is completely bent, but I think that's just how they come in the box. And then you're going to rotate this thumb piece up like this, and then rotate this piece down to fill out some of the back of the hand. And then you rotate up the legs, and then just fold him in half. And then you fold up these feet to make the fingertips. And there's your gauntlet, which is pretty good looking. It has no articulation to speak of. Like you can't move the pinky at all, and you can see it's kind of mashed into this ring finger. The ring finger, or the middle finger, does have some articulation, but not really. And then the ring, you just grab that out of there, and then it's really ugly. It's just a huge gap in there. The forefinger, no articulation there either. And then the thumb really doesn't have articulation. You could point it up like this, but that kind of breaks the way it's supposed to look. It's supposed to basically be like this, kind of grabbing, reaching out, and then the sword. And then of course you could just turn on the electronics. Okay, and then you can, of course, slash away or whatever as a sword mode. You're supposed to be able to put on your hand, but if you have like an adult hand, even a small adult hand, you're not going to get your whole hand in here. It's unfortunate they didn't make this piece able to like just flip out, because then you could fit your whole hand in here, even if you're an adult. But this thing it's a pretty small hand, even compared to my tiny hands. It's about the same size. But yeah, it's really too bad you can't get your hand in here. And same thing with the rings. The rings are also too child size, so you can't really fit those in. They'd come with adult extensions that you could just slip out, so that's nice. But yeah, everything is very, very tiny, and they could have easily remedied that by just moving this piece right here to let you slip your hand in. So not sure why they did that. This could have just been like an L-shaped piece. But yeah, that's the whole thing. And then underneath, not much to look at, but your hand is supposed to be there anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, we don't need to listen to all that. So that's the Tega sword itself. You can't really stand it up. So I guess it's cool that a robot turns into a hand. I always like that. You don't see that very often. And then for the Leon Buster, you just clip his main on up here. It just clips into that. And then you're just going to press this button to rotate his feet into place. And then you're just going to rotate this. And then he's all done. That's it. And then you can pull the trigger. And this is actually a pretty satisfying gimmick. It starts spinning when you let go. And it spins for a good amount of time, considering how little force it takes. So that's pretty cool. But that's all he does. He doesn't really stand up. He has a tripod kind of thing going on, so he kind of can. But his feet won't be resting on the ground. So there's that set. That also comes with, of course, the two rings, which are pretty cool. I like clear plastic, so this is fun for me. But yeah, and I think on Amazon or Amazon Japan, I paid like $45 for this. So I definitely got taken for a ride. Like neither of these things are worth how much I paid Um, and of course, I'm going to customize this guy and give him the articulation he needs. But I don't know. I have high hopes for Unicorn, and I think that one will look really good. But I don't know about this this series. But if you're really into it, you can definitely get them. Just get them somewhere else. And I'll show you one last thing while you're here. So you got this like Common Rider Dragon. I think it's Winger Machine or something like that. And he turns into a foot, so that's cool. You get a giant hand, a giant foot. It'd be pretty cool if there was like a robot that was big enough to wear these. So you could get something that looks like this basically. I think this guy scales pretty well with the gauntlet and the gun and the foot. So that's kind of a dumb thing I can do. Anyway, I'm going to cut this guy up now and I'll see you in the next one.